Dustmorn continues to make cards jump in price, but there are some really good cards dropping this week too. Let's take a look. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Dustmorn House of Horror or find a vast number of other great products on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, where today we're looking at the top 10 coldest cards of the week. Now when I say cold cards, not necessarily cards that aren't seeing a lot of play, but cards that are moving down in value. Now when we decide on the top 10, we're always looking for two pieces of criteria. We want to see a percentage decrease in the value of the cards, but we also want to see a true increase in the number of sales from week to week as well. Like I said in the cold open, players and speculators are looking towards Dustmorn strategies, so there are some very solid cards that are moving down in price right now. Also, it is worth noting that there was a very significant Commander ban list update on Monday. Cards that were banned were Dockside Extortionist, Nadu Winged Wisdom, Jeweled Lotus, and Mana Crypt. Those four cards did not make the top 10 this week for a couple of reasons. However, they are moving down in value, so I wanted you to be aware of that. They missed the list because the percentage decrease actually wasn't strong enough for any of these cards yet. And also, I haven't seen a whole lot of sales at the lower price points. People are lowering the prices here and there, but I'm not seeing a lot of folks pulling the trigger right now on the actual purchase. So next week, I'm sure these will start creeping into the top 10, but I just wanted you to be aware of this, if nothing else. And finally, before we get started, I wanted to say thank you to one of our silver patrons. That is Bear Bears RVA. Bear Bears, thank you for all your support. I do appreciate it. Being a patron really helps more than I can even begin to tell you. I couldn't do this without viewers like yourself. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 10 is Lord Windgrace, down $1.07 to $3.71. That's a 22% decrease. This is the foil copy from the Commander 2018 Nature's Vengeance deck, and it continues to be a fairly popular commander. It can show up in the 99 of a few builds too though, like Omnith Locus of All for example. Now there was some speculation on this when Bloomburrow was approaching due to some land support there, in the form of cards like Iridescent Vinelasher and Lumira Bellow of the Woods, but ultimately not much really came out of it, so Lord Windgrace moves down some this week. Number 9 is Battlefield Improvisation. This is down $1.21 to $2.49. That's a 33% decrease. This is from the MTG Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed starter kit, and that is the only place you can get the card. In fact, that's part of the reason it was hot for a while. There are Commander players that love playing with equipment, and since this card is currently limited to being part of a side product from a rather unpopular set, FOMO and speculation made this card jump. It has been showing up in a few Commander builds like Ivor Battle Ready, which is also exclusively found in the starter kit, and Nahiri Forged in Fury, but ultimately Battlefield Improvisation isn't seeing all that much play, and more copies have been slowly entering circulation, so it moves down this week. Coming in at number 8 is Arwen Weaver of Hope, down $1.54 to $6.45. That's a 19% decrease. This is from the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Elven Council Commander deck, and since it came out, we've seen this in several Commander builds. The most popular one is around Galadriel Light of Valinor. Recently though, Arwen got a bump in Commander play, showing up in decks around a Bloomburrow card, Burke Longear of the Law. Now though, attention is moving on to Dustmorn cards and strategies, so Arwen Weaver of Hope slides down some this week. Number 7 is Urabrask Forge. It's down $1.65 to $8.35. That's a 17% decrease. This was our number 6 card on the cold list last week. Here we have a card that still sees a lot of play, but a few weeks back it spiked aggressively when the standard Boros token control deck took off. Now the meta is a little different, but Urabrask Forge is still highly played in standard. It's in Gruul Prowess, Rakdos Lizards, Jeskai Aggro, Mono Red Prowess, Rakdos Aggro, Boros Aggro, Jeskai Control, Boros Token Control, and Mono Red Aggro. This also sees some commander play in Goro Goro and Satoru for example, and it recently saw a small bump in play there as part of some Balin the Haymaker and Mabel Heir to Cragflame builds. Those are two cards from Bloomburrow. Ultimately, Urabrask Forge moves down again, but it is still seeing a lot of play in standard, and it's still quite a bit more expensive than it was before it spiked at the start of August. Coming in at number 6 is Penance. It's down $1.95 to $9.78. That's a 17% decrease. This one print wonder from the early years of Magic was number 3 on the hot list last week when it spiked aggressively. This is a card that speculators have been focused on since the reveal of Duskmourn's Miracle Worker Commander deck and the new support coming for enchantment builds. Some wanted this to upgrade Miracle Worker, while others wanted to add it to fresh decks around the front-facing Commander, Aminatou Veilpiercer, and the Master of Keys from there. But this is a tale as old as time. A card spikes aggressively, sellers see the price jump, they decide it's time to sell their copies. Next thing you know, the market gets hit with more supply than anyone was expecting, and we see some retraction. Penance is still much more expensive than it was before the spike though. Alright, before we get into our top 5, just a quick reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Duskmourn House of Horror products there. You can also pre-order Foundations now too on their website, and they have a whole lot of other items, MTG related and otherwise. Remember, for orders over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And if you're looking for a direct link to their website, just check out the description or the comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the top 5. Our number 5 card is Psychic Frog. It's down $2.24 to $13.25. That's a 33% decrease. This has been hot since it came out, and even though there have been significant changes to the Modern, Legacy, and Vintage metas since August's banned and restricted list update, Psychic Frog still sees a ton of play. In Vintage, it's in Lurrus Saga, Sultai Midrange, Scam, and Lurrus Deathrite. In the new Legacy meta, this is in Reanimator, Grixis Tempo, Doomsday, Beanstalk Control, Death Shadow, and Dimir Delver. Meanwhile, over in Modern, Psychic Frog is in the wildly popular Dimir Murktide deck, and it's in other builds too there, like Goryo's Vengeance, Grixis Murktide, Death Shadow, Dimir Midrange, Sultai Midrange, Crabvine, and Sultai Murktide. As if that wasn't enough, this has also seen a bump in Commander play recently around a card from Bloomburrow, that's Glarb Calamity's Augur. Even with all that gameplay though, Psychic Frog is still down this week as it tries to find its price point after some recent increases. Keep an eye on it though, I wouldn't be surprised to see the card hop up again. Coming in at number 4 is Echoing Assault. It goes down $2.27 to $4.68. That's a 33% decrease. This is from Family Matters, the Bloomburrow Commander deck, not the TV show, and it was number 7 on the hot list last week. It has quickly become a highly played Commander card in lots of decks, old and new. You see it in fresh builds around the front-facing Commander from its precon, Zinnia Valley's Voice, but players are also grabbing this to upgrade the Animated Army Bloomburrow Commander deck, while others have used Echoing Assault in fresh builds around that deck's front-facing Commander, Bellow, Bard of the Brambles. Plus, Echoing Assault is in some highly played Commander builds around cards from Bloomburrow's main set, including Balin the Haymaker and Wick the World Mind. But wait, there's more! An upcoming Duskmourn card has been pushing it too. Some are interested in putting Echoing Assault in Commander decks around the Jolly Balloon Man. It should fit naturally into those builds. Ultimately though, the card is moving down this week after a very aggressive spike last week. More copies hit the marketplace as you would expect after a spike, but also remember, a lot of Bloomburrow product is in circulation right now as well. So Echoing Assault retracts some this week. Coming in at number 3 is Agate Instigator, down $3.69 to $12.80. That's a 22% decrease. You may remember that this was number 5 on our hot list last week. This is another card from Family Matters, the Commander deck, not the TV show. It's in fresh builds around Zinnia Valley's Voice from there. It's also in other decks in the format though, both old and new. You see Agate Instigator in the Locust God decks for example, and it's included in 2 highly played builds around cards from the Bloomburrow main set, Gevscald Scorch and Balin the Haymaker. However, you also see Agate Instigator in deck lists around 2 Duskmourn cards. They are the Jolly Balloon Man again, and Arabella Abandoned Doll. Same old story though, we have a card from a Bloomburrow product that spiked aggressively last week, retracting now because of the number of copies in circulation. Coming in at number 2 for the second week in a row on the cold list, it is AC Tyrant of Gyre Strait. Down $4.69 to $25.73, that's a 15% decrease. This is the Commander Legends Reap the Tide Commander deck copy, which only comes in foil. It's always been a popular Commander and in the 99 of several builds there, including a couple new ones. You see it in decks around the Bloomburrow Buy a Box promo Commander card Flubs the Fool, and Glarb Calamity's Augur from the main set. So why is AC Tyrant of Gyre Strait moving down now? Well, for the first time it is being reprinted in not one, but two products. First, it's in Mystery Booster 2, which isn't a wide release product, so that alone probably wouldn't have impacted the Commander Legends copy's price that much, but it's also being reprinted in the Duskmourn Jump Scare Commander deck with an exclamation point. I'm already seeing it in fresh deck lists around the front-facing Commander from there, Zimone Mystery Unraveler. And AC is now appearing in deck lists around Zimone All Questioning from the main set as well. However, with the extra copies of AC Tyrant of Gyre Strait coming in hot, the original dips again this week. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Parallax Tide from Nemesis. It's down $4.99 to $15 for a 25% decrease. 3 weeks ago, we saw this at number 9 on the hot list. 2 weeks ago, it was number 5 there. Last week, it made its cold list debut at number 3. This week, it takes the top spot. This Nemesis copy is the only tournament legal printing of the card, and it has been dry online recently, which is why it was moving up. The format that was causing that was actually pretty modern. There is a Parallax Replenish deck there that has been performing well. The build runs 3 or 4 copies of this, and that extra demand on an already scarce card led to the recent spike. A very familiar story here though. A card gets hot, it spikes. That leads to sellers putting more copies online, and eventually supply catches up with demand enough to bring it down at least some. But again, in this case, the price is still much higher than before it started jumping in August. Alright, with that being said, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. I may be on later in the week to do a Duskmourn stream. I'll have to kind of see how things go. I'd love to draft a new set. I know it just came out of Magic Arena. So if I can manage that, you'll see me later in the week. If not, I'll be back on Tuesday as usual for our next episode of the Market Watch. Until then though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.